Today I am going to talk about another histopathological finding, that is acanthosis. Acanthosis means thickening of stratum spinosum. And this thickening of stratum spinosum is seen in chronic eczema. As we know, the acute eczema presents with oozing out of fluid, but the chronic eczema presents with lichenified lesions. Lichenified lesions are characterized by various features like hypertrophy of skin, that is skin thickening, increase in surface markings over skin, and pigmentary change. You can remember these characteristic features of lichenified lesions by a mnemonic HMP. H, hypertrophy, M, markings, and P, pigmentary change. There was a question which has been asked in NEET PG 2018, that itchy lichenified lesions. As you can see here, a word lichenified. Whenever you will hear a word lichenified, just think of chronic eczema. Here is the itchy lichenified lesions presents over flexures of elbows and knees seen in. And the itchy lichenified lesions are seen in atopic dermatitis, and the atopic dermatitis presents with chronic eczema. Now let's talk about some important facts about Poikiloderma. In Poikiloderma, skin atrophy, telangiectasias are dilated superficial blood vessels, and pigmentary changes are seen in Poikiloderma. You can remember the features of Poikiloderma by a mnemonic ATP. A stands for atrophy, T stands for telangiectasia, and P stands for pigmentary change. This Poikiloderma is seen in mycosis fungoides, and this mycosis fungoides is a cutaneous T-cell lymphoma. Or CTCL, cutaneous T-cell lymphoma. Now let's talk about types of acanthosis. As we know, the acanthosis is the thickening of stratum spinosum, and this thickening can be of two types, that is the regular thickening and irregular thickening, or regular acanthosis or irregular acanthosis. And the regular acanthosis is seen in chronic eczema, and in psoriasis. And irregular acanthosis is seen in lichen plants. Let's talk about another histopathological finding, that is hypergranulosis. It is the thickening of stratum granulosum, and this thickening of stratum granulosum is seen in lichen plants. And in lichen planus, wedge-shaped hypergranulosis is seen. Wedge-shaped. Wedge-shaped is somewhat like this. Now let's see another histopathological finding, that is angranulosis, which is also known as hypogranulosis. It is the absence or thinning of stratum granulosum. It is the absence of stratum granulosum, or thinning of stratum granulosum, and it is seen in psoriasis and ichthyosis vulgaris. Now let's move on to another histopathological finding, that is microabscess. Micro means small and abscess means collection of cells. Therefore, the microabscess is the collection of any type of cells. This microabscess can be of various types: neutrophilic microabscess, lymphocytic microabscess, eosinophilic microabscess. The examples of neutrophilic microabscesses are papillary tip microabscess, Monroe's microabscess, and Kojok pustules. Papillary tip microabscess is seen in dermatitis herpetiformis, and Monroe's microabscess is seen in psoriasis, and Kojok pustules is seen in psoriasis. But what is the difference between Monroe's microabscess and Kojok's pustules? In psoriasis, Monroe's abscess is seen in stratum corneum, but the Kojok pustules in psoriasis are seen in stratum spinosum. The example of lymphocytic microabscess is Poikiloderma microabscess, which is seen in mycosis fungoides, and the mycosis fungoides is a cutaneous T-cell lymphoma. The example of eosinophilic microabscess is intraepidermal eosinophilic microabscess, which is seen in pemphigus vegetans. There are two most common important microabscesses. Repeatedly questions are asked on these two microabscesses, that is Monroe's microabscess, which is seen in psoriasis, and Poikiloderma microabscess, which is seen in mycosis fungoides. Now let's move on to another important microabscess, that is BOTRYOMYCOSIS. Here is a term mycosis. We all are aware about mycosis, that mycosis is the fungal infection, but BOTRYOMYCOSIS is a misnomer. It's not a fungal infection. It's caused by Staph aureus, and the small collection of neutrophils is seen in the center of granuloma of BOTRYOMYCOSIS, though it is labeled as a microabscess. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Thanks.